Good afternoon, everyone. Gabe Velazquez here with you, transparenttradesolutions.com on a Friday, 11th August. Let's get right into it. Not a lot really that we haven't talked about, just dog days of summer, lots of choppy trading, kind of drifting along here, these markets, a lot of markets just drifting along. Good news is, we got some earnings plays. We've been focused largely on that because, a lot of this other stuff, we put out a Disney earnings play this week. Some of our members were filled, not a lot. We're getting a little bit of a challenge getting filled on options right now, but some folks did get filled, and those are we did some credit spreads on Disney, and some of those are starting to work right now. So those expiring worthless today, which on a credit spread is obviously what you need to happen. Also, for next week, we've got we've got all the kind of retailers, big retailers, Home Depot, Walmart. Next week's going to be a retail. So there's going to be some opportunities there. In fact, we're in a big retail stock right now called, what is it called? Shoot, I can't even remember the name right now. They're in the Remington and Black and Decker and stuff. Spectrum, yeah, Spectrum. SPB is the actual symbol. So we took that on yesterday. They reported earnings. Stock popped, broke out, and they gave some of that back. And then we got some solar stocks that we're involved with as well. So welcome everybody. Just kind of giving you a sense of what we're doing at TTS. We're still in the bonds. In the TLT, as I mentioned. On the future side, there hasn't been a ton of levels, I have to tell you. I mean, as you know, it's been a bit of a challenge unless you're starting to day trade or whatever. So let's get into the charts real quick and show you really next week we've got Fed minutes. This week we had the inflation numbers, which in retrospect aren't really moving the markets, which is really interesting here. So everybody should be able to see the chart. So let's start with the S&P. We did have basically just kind of a drift, very, very choppy. You can see just a chop lower. Again, it's been one of these kind of just grinding lower. If you short the breaks, you're obviously getting burned because it rallies right back up again. So even here, you don't really have any levels till you get up to this gap, and then we're coming into some decent levels. If we can start breaking down, the VIX needs to break above 18 to get this thing really going. We're sitting on the VIX just kind of floating around too. So I think, if we either break down and let's say the market rallies and the VIX breaks 13, we should have the S&P somewhere up here, and that would be a great sell signal, which, I think I'm going to have a class on that coming up here. I'll let you know how to use the VIX. It's been basically in no man's land as well. So that's part of why the market's just kind of been drifting. So generally speaking, we'll have to wait till see if we actually have some momentum to break down on the S&P. But other than that, I was here with you Tuesday. We haven't really moved a whole heck of a lot since I was with you on Tuesday. We broke a new low here. Now we're right back up again. So it is what it is. That's where we're at on this. Similarly, the NASDAQ's still been the underperformer, but similarly just been, kind of drifting lower. We just held right at this big support area at 1504, 1504.275, but nothing new here. We still don't have any strong momentum. Again, all across really the averages. Look at this big old mess in the Dow, and then the Russell actually held up fairly well. So the Russell's kind of hanging in there right along some of these levels here, but also just very choppy. So nothing going on. All the action has been really in the bond market. We've been in bonds. We were actually up nicely up here, and then the bond the bond auction on yesterday, in fact, the 10-year went well, and then the 30-year was challenged, and so that's actually where you have this big kind of pullback in the bond market. We're still hanging in there barely, but we're at break even on this now. So we'll see how that goes. And but generally, again, looks like bonds, 30-year in particular, looks like it, if it holds here, it's sitting right there, then I think we're okay. But if it breaks down here, then we're probably heading down to the lows here at 117.18 on the 30-year, which is the lows from last fall. Similarly, you know, the 10-year, also the whole interest rate complex just, you know, sold off, but hasn't broken any lows. And particularly on the long end is where you're seeing most of the selling. The short end still, you know, the 5-year did sell off. However, it's still holding above, you know, the July lows, and even just last week, still holding above that. So it looks like the yield curve is starting to or disinvert, or whatever you're going to call it, normalize actually, where it's maybe just flattening out a little bit, and then you can see the 2-year. So all in all, you know, just back and forth, lots of big, but obviously volatility in the bond market is much better than it is in the stock averages, even though, you know, they kind of just drift lower, but it's a bit in a choppy manner. Also, interestingly, the dollar been in a range too. Looks like it wants to break to the upside. We've been talking about these levels. The dollar just been back and forth. It did close right on the highs. Maybe it's ready to, you know, challenge this area right here for 103, maybe even break out. If rates really start going up, I think dollar's probably going to go higher. And this also is mirroring, you know, all the currencies, as you see. The one currency I'm still looking at is the yen. That yen is going to make an all-time, you know, this is probably going to test some of these levels down in here. It's been drifting lower as well. It's been impacted more by the interest rate market here in the U.S. So we'll see how that goes. And then all the rest of the currencies just chop. You see the British pound, the Swissy, and even the com dolls are, you know, been just back and forth, kind of, you know, mimicking the dollar. So nothing to speak of there. New Zealand looks like it wants to break. So there are some currencies that are actually having some move. If the New Zealand breaks here, it's right on the cusp of breaking. There are some levels below here that could be a possibility. And you're still not getting any pullbacks to get short. Again, that's been a bit of a challenge here. Even these pullbacks here have been a little bit challenged. There haven't been any great levels up here. So all in all, you know, Canada also coming into some decent levels. It's been holding up a little bit better on the currency front than most of these currencies. But generally, you can see just a big old chop fest here with some of these currencies. Similarly, silver. Look at this. Silver also tight range. Gold just been dead in the water for I don't know how long. Nothing changing there. Still looks like copper's looks like it might want to break down. We had some pretty good swings in copper, but it didn't quite get up to our level up here. We were trying to short copper up here, and but you can see this big old mess here. So there's obviously some levels in here on the micro contract. You can do that. So copper does have a micro contract, and then oil still can't get any traction. It looked like it wanted to break 83, and now it's similarly to a lot of these markets, just sitting here, died off. Didn't get much follow through, any false, you know, you can call it a false break, whatever. So nothing to do here. It may consolidate here and then go higher, but it's been, again, it's been a bit of a tough road to hoe on the oil. It's clearly still looks bullish, but just can't get any traction, which is a challenge. Also, nat gas got a run this week, and sure enough, right when it hit $3, stalled out. In fact, I had a few members short it right there, and now we're again kind of in no man's land. Maybe look for some pullbacks in nat gas down to. I'd ideally like to see it back down to 234. So it's going to be interesting if we can hold here. On the next leg up, we probably break out. So we're, you know, for now, you can still call this a pullback, but we've seen this before where, you know, again, looked like it was going to go here, paused here, and then just eventually drifted lower. So all in all, I would say range between 2 and 3. Are we poised to break out? That's next week. I think we're going to know if this is actually going to make a move above 3, or we just kind of drift lower and then resume the range trading here. We had a grain report today, and we got a lot of whipsaw moves, but nothing spectacular here. Nothing, no follow through on any of these. Corn just kind of died. Had some whipsaw moves that typically happens after these reports, but no follow through. So that was interesting there. Yeah, other than that, really, you know, again, just playing some of these earnings, playing some of the volatility or lack of volatility with the options. That's really kind of where we're focusing our attention a little bit until you know, we get some movement in the averages, which probably, again, we've been muddled up here for about 2-3 weeks now. So maybe next week, as we get into the end of summer, you know, mid-August, late August, kids coming back to school, college is starting up, volume is going to start picking up. So I think we got maybe another week of low volume, and then as we head into the end of summer, early fall, I think things are going to pick up on the volume front. But it is what it is. You know, you trade what is. You trade, and then you got to basically just keep your powder dry for when things happen. You know, we had a nice move in nat gas this week, so there's always something. You have to just be more focused in this market, be more patient than usual, and you will catch some moves in this. And then obviously that's where I love options, because options gives you that flexibility to take advantage of the lack of volatility or whatever. There, we've had some pretty nice moves also in some of these stocks. I mean, if you look at stocks like Celsia, that thing moved up almost $30. We had Datadog this week as well. So there are still some stocks out there that are having some really nice moves. You have to just be watching your earnings calendar and see if you can take advantage of some of that. Okay. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Tuesday. If you have any questions or comments, post them in the chat. Give me some thumbs up, put some commentary in the chat, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Okay. Take care.